Something I like to do over on my Instagram is do a little Q&A session to get my brain going a bit, you know. And recently, I was asked a question over there that felt like it deserved an answer bigger than Instagram can accommodate. Someone asked me, isn't shape-shifting a form of cowardice? Isn't that what politicians and grifters do? I'm fairly sure this is in response to my brilliant video, The Truth About Truth, wherein I laid out that in the post-truth paradigm that we currently exist within, beliefs are valued on the basis of the pretext that they provide rather than on the evidence they rest upon, or even their value as a social adhesive or a moral compass. I expressed that our relationship with belief would need to change to accommodate this new reality. Whereas in the past, beliefs were sacrosanct to the core of our identity, in the new paradigm, they are simply tools to be wielded for the simple purpose of accomplishing various objectives. In other words, in the old world, actions usually sprang from beliefs. In the new one, beliefs are retrofitted to justify actions. We don't believe and then act. We act and then scramble for a belief that makes it feel noble or necessary or righteous, or at the very least, permissible. And this has always happened throughout human history, of course. But it used to be the exception, the quirk, the occasional Salem witch trial or crusade or McCarthy hearing. Now, it's the default setting, the main program, the factory reset of human discourse. And however we might feel about this emergent paradigm, the practical reality of things makes it necessary that we adjust our strategies for engaging with the world. So, in this way, we must become shapeshifters, because those who cannot adapt quickly and effectively to the mad fluctuations of narrative, ideology, and identity are going to find their social capital and their ability to effectively influence events reduced to effectively zero. A steadfast and unshakable principle loses to a well-timed pivot 10 times out of 10. And in America, you can see this so clearly in our political discourse. Right now, every liberal and every leftist is essentially on Mr. Trump's wild ride, because no position that Trump states today can be counted on to still be his position tomorrow. He is President Chaos. His detractors are tying themselves into knots trying to figure him out. But his followers take every leap with him because by and large, they trust that whatever he's saying today, right now, is the new truth that must be accepted, even if it completely and utterly contradicts what he said yesterday and what he said for months or even years before. So, with that giant block of context out of the way, let's really dive into the heart of the question I was asked, which is, isn't shape-shifting a form of cowardice? Isn't that what politicians and grifters do? Well, let's ask ourselves this. Are politicians and grifters failures at influencing public opinion? Are they bad at it? No. They're the foremost experts in getting people to believe what they need them to believe right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. They are the masters of momentary persuasion, of narrative manipulation, of aligning their message with the mood of the room. And while that might make them morally repugnant to some, it also makes them effective. You don't have to like their methods to acknowledge their power. So is it cowardly to be a shapeshifter? No, it's cowardly to insist on holding on to fixed ideals in a world made of liquid fire. It's cowardly to cling to outdated notions of integrity when those notions no longer serve us. We cannot pretend the battlefield hasn't changed just because we don't like the new terrain. Real courage is not planting your flag and refusing to move. It's in knowing when to burn the flag and become something new, to evolve, to pivot, to respond. Not reactively, but deliberately. Shapeshifting is not cowardice, it's strategy. It gets shit done. So if you're a person who holds any notion of wanting to influence the course of this world, then you got to be prepared to transform, not once, not twice, all the time, continuously. You must be prepared to abandon the comfort of consistency and embrace the dissonance of becoming. Because if you cling to the idea that your identity is single and it's a sacred truth carved in stone, you are setting yourself up to be shattered and defeated and outmaneuvered at every turn. Let's take this into the realm of the practical. If you are an LGBT person or an immigrant or neurodivergent or any minority right now, you find yourself in a terrible social climate. So what can you do to mitigate it? Because the strategy I see all over mainstream and social media is this, let's appeal to the country's sense of empathy. And it continuously fails. Because let's be honest, this country has no fucking empathy right now. This country is full of people who treat empathy like it's a finite resource, and they've already used it all up on their dog or their veteran uncle or maybe one little tragic local news story. But if you don't fit into their vision of familiarity and relatability and usefulness, you're shit out of luck. You're not a person. You're a problem. You are a threat. So what can you do? Well, for starters, you can look at what the people who are in power are doing to get it and to keep it. They're not appealing to empathy. They're not begging to be understood. They're not weeping at the gates of public opinion, hoping that someone on the other side will grow a conscience. No. What they're doing is mastering spectacle, weaponizing narrative. They're bending the chaos to their advantage by moving fast and talking loud and wearing whatever mask the moment demands. They are shapeshifters. They know how to speak to fear. They know how to invoke nostalgia and rage and grievance and pride. They don't ask to be seen. They force it. They seize attention. And they hold it in a chokehold until the room bends around them. Stop trying to explain yourself to people who've already decided that you're beneath them. It's a waste of your time and energy. What you need to do instead is amplify, cultivate presence, build myth, construct avatars that carry your truth not with accuracy, but with force. If they will not listen to your pain, make them fear your power. If they won't open their hearts, then storm their senses. Be beautiful, be terrifying, be hilarious, be strange, be impossible to look away from. Be the thing that hijacks their timeline, their dinner conversation, and most importantly, their algorithms. Learn how to manipulate attention, not as a con, but as a craft. Because in this post-truth, post-empathy world, attention is leverage, and leverage used properly moves mountains. It's not faith anymore. And when you see someone else playing the same game as you, don't infight. Don't call them out. Don't play the purity game. Don't say, oh, I see through your performance. You bolster their performance, okay? Because you do a duet with them. You second voice their authenticity. You treat them like a scene partner. Because look at the power of that move. Look at how the people trying to destroy you do it. When one of them is caught with their dick in a bear trap, they all rally together to deny reality, and it works every fucking time. Because we're in post-truth, we're in chaos. Reality is whatever consensus they come to. And calling out the lies is impotent and uncharismatic and, most importantly, ineffectual. I am a chaos magician. And I'm not saying you got to be one too, but there's a piece of philosophical wisdom embedded in chaos magic that's useful to everyone in this moment. It's one of the most important things that chaos magic teaches us. Prior to chaos magic, ceremonial magic was steeped in dense hierarchies, inherited symbols, ancient names, rigid structures. You had to learn the right chants, wear the right robes, know the rotation of the planets, all that crap. You had to believe in the system, bow to it, conform to it, be shaped by it. But chaos magic said no. Chaos magic said belief is just a tool, homie. Symbols are just costumes. Ritual is just theater. The power is not in the script. It's in the will behind it. The power is in what works. Chaos magic teaches that reality is malleable, that identity is constructible, that truth is contextual, that belief is something you choose, not something that chooses you. Now, you don't have to buy into some fixed cosmology to wield power. You just need to know how to generate meaning, how to direct attention, and how to focus your will. And that's not just magic, that's just life in 2025. Because when the world is no longer held together by shared truth, it's held together by shared performance. Everything is narrative. Narrative controls reality, not facts, not data, not logic, narrative. Now, you may not like that. I spent years as a skeptic. I spent years trying to combat misinformation and woo-woo and nonsense. But I have observed the changes that have occurred over the last decade, and I've come to the conclusion that the material conditions of the world as it exists right now could not be more hostile, more anathema to the framework of truth, reason, and earnest persuasion. Empirical reality does not sway people. It does not pierce through ideology. It does not win the day. We have a media ecosystem built on attention and outrage, where AI can manufacture lies en masse, where conspiracy theories self-replicate like viruses, where every person lives in a curated reality bubble fed by algorithms that constantly reinforce their worldviews, where tribal identity trumps intellectual honesty, where clout beats credibility. I fought this paradigm for a long time. I resisted it. I mocked it. I tried to out-rational it. I believed naively that if I just sharpened my arguments enough, if I spoke clearly enough, if I hit people with enough facts, they'd wake up and they would see. But they didn't. They don't. They won't. Because guess what? They're not asleep. They haven't been tricked. They haven't been hoodwinked. They are willing participants. They didn't stumble into misinformation. They sought it out, and they fed it, and they nurtured it, and now they wear it like a team jersey. And they're winning. So what, in the light of that, is the reasonable course? To keep screaming into the void with charts and citations? Holding out hope that maybe the side that's winning will make the decision to go ahead and just lose? If you're in a burning building, the brave thing is not to sit cross-legged in the flames reciting the fucking fire code. The brave thing is to get moving. That is all.